welcome back. We're continuing looking at our Django Python series of our application, and we are deep into reports. So we're going to continue this time. Last time around, we set it up so we're able to basically dynamically create our parameters. And so what we're going to do this time around is we're going to actually run a report. Now, there's a couple ways we can do this. We could create a URL for each report, and we could actually, from run report, basically turn around and display some results. At this point, we're going to do it a little differently. So what I want to do instead, because I want to keep it moderately flexible, so I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to keep it very simple. So I'm going to do RPT, and then I'm going to give it an ID. And that's a good question. How do I want to do that? I think what I want to do here is I'm going to give it an ID. And since for this one, these are all simple, I'm going to give it a parameter. And so that parameter is going to be also, let's make that a string, because each of these is, well, let's see. Let's look at this real quick, because we can do it a couple different ways. Now, what we could do is we could post it and have it try to grab the parameters, which is probably, it's the best way to go about this as far as being able to do things. But let's just do it by ID. So whatever we have here, we're going to have this parameter. We're just going to have an ID, and then we'll use that to get to what we want. So we're going to have an ID for the report. Let's actually call that report ID. And then we're going to have a PID, which is going to be the parameter. Now, this does limit us because we're only going to be able to send one parameter value per report. But for now, we're going to keep it simple. So let's do just report generate instead of reports page. And now that means we've got to go over to our views and reports page. We'll just sort of copy that for now. And he's going to have the report ID and the parameter ID. And he's called report generate. And now he's going to have some sort of, his title is going to be based on the type that we get. And so we've got three, where do we put those? So let's just sort of take this right now and move this to report generate. And so if, I can do it like this. So for right now, title equals task by timeline, task by roadmap, and task by status. Now we're going to use this reports page, so we're actually going to be able to basically come back to, although it's a slightly different URL, we're still going to be able to dynamically make some changes. Go in, we can look at a report and quickly pull another. Now, one other thing we want to do is let's go back to, let's clear a couple of these guys out and jump to reports page. Now, what we have here, okay, so we do have tasks, and then it's going to list out tasks based on what we have. Let's say, we're going to change this. No tasks, list report, meet the report criteria. So it's going to tell us if we don't have any tasks, then so be it. Now let's actually do, now so that's our, oops, this is going to be our report ID. Oop. And what we're going to do in each of these actually is tasks, which we have to send. So we're going to do tasks, and that's going to be tasks. And each of that one is going to be based on, we have that somewhere. So let's do it like this. I'm going to steal that. So let's see, tasks equals that. So let's just do this real quick. And so for each of these, what we're going to do is we're going to filter it based on something. So this one is going to be the timeline, which I think we call it that. So we have timeline, roadmap, and status. And if we look at our tasks, that means we have, time frame. We have status, and then roadmap's going to be actually up a level. So that's going to be a little different. So we're going to do time frame. And that's going to be equals TF, and we're going to get that. And our TF is going to be equal to timeline dot objects dot get, where the PK equals our ID. And so we're going to filter for that. And so let's actually take the same way. Roadmaps can be a little different. So we're going to do that one. Boy, how do we want to do that? Well, not deal with that yet. We're going to do that a little bit funky. So we're going to come back to that. So first, let's see, status equals, look up status. Dot objects dot get. So there we go. And this one's going to be the status equals status. Let's call it ST just to avoid some confusion. Oh, do we not have? Oh, I'm sorry. It is time frame. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it timeline, but it has to be time frame. Let's do it that way. And then this one, it's not timeline. Time frame equals that, time frame. So that's the same thing. We're going to fix this one in a minute. First, let's get these two done. So now we're going to do status, and we're going to do by time frame. So if we take those, and then run report needs to actually call that. So run report is going to call, in my URL, it's going to call this guy. So we need to go to our reports page, and we do select report. Let's see, where did we do run report? Run report does run report. So we don't have him yet, so let's create him. And it's going to do this. And let's go look at what we did with some of these others. So we're going to be able to pick up our Go page, and we're going to use that here. Except for what it's going to be is it's going to be the report, with that, plus RID plus, and then we're going to do the report ID. So we're going to call that, but first we have to get those values, and those are going to come from, so we got the report, and call it the parameter, we'll call it parm. And so the report is based off of the report selector. And our parms, let's go here. I think those were based off of, we called those, we look here, that was report parm 1. So RPT, capital P, parm, parm 1. And then actually this is going to be, it's supposed to be report.value and parm.value. And let's see if this works. So if we do go page there, that should be good. If we look here where we did a go page in the past, it's just because it's included, so we should be set. Let's see, so that should be all good. Now it's going to say it can't find that. Oh, so I could do that global go page. So let's do that just to make it like that. There we go. Okay. So it's going to run a report, and let's see how that works. So if we come in here and we do this, so we can do by status, and let's do everything that's complete. Let's see what happens when we do run. Okay, so run report undefined complete. So it's grabbing the wrong value. So let's take a look at that again. So if we look at our views, that's status by status, blah, 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 blah. So here we go. So should be, each of those should be the option ID. Let's take a look at that. So if we look back, oh, so we probably don't want value. We actually want an ID within that. So let's look at that real quick. So if we look here, let's look at our page. So we do this. Okay, so text by status. Whoops, let's do this. And if we do that, and that's equal to complete, and we look here. So that's the ID. Oh, that's the ID. I'm sorry, those want to be values. My mistake. So there's a little bit of a mistake we made there. So this actually wants to be value, and, oh, no, I want that to be the ID. But when I create the options, I want those to be the values. So let's change that up a little bit. And then that means I probably want to fix that in my report itself. Where did I put that? Nope, I've got those values. Okay, so that should be, so report type. Oh, the select is report type. My mistake. I did that again. So let's fix that. Get by ID. And now let's take a look at this guy. So we come in, let's do it by status, complete, run, report 3.3. And so now it's giving us our list. Now our list is a little bit interesting in how it's pulling stuff out because of how we do this. So we'll take a look at that. Let's take a look at our report real quick. And so for each of these, we've got a time frame, blah, 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 blah. We got each of those. We've got a div. And so that's going to be go page. Let's make him a row and see if that works. Let's see if that cleans that up just a little bit. Okay. Not exactly how we wanted to do it. So let's tweak that. Let's go back to where we were. Oh. And since each of these is a car, oh, because we changed the way we did these guys a little bit ago, right? So we've got these, and we're missing a div somewhere in here, I think, what we'll see. So let's not worry about that yet. So if we go by timeline, let's see, let's do that. So that was by there. If we go by timeline and we pick everything that is first quarter, then we're going to only get the things that are in that time frame. So we have those two. So let's wrap this up a little bit. Next time, what we're going to do is we're going to come around and we're going to fix this the status stuff. And we're also going to handle our roadmap, which is a little more complex. So that'll wrap it up this time. We'll come back and wrap up reports. So go out there until the next time. Have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.